Ever wondered what happens when you mix desperation with a lottery? Welcome to the Great Depression of 2026, where California decided to up the ante with the California Grand Lottery. Here's the twist. If someone takes out the winner before sundown, using anything other than bullets, they get to keep the jackpot. Sounds like a wild game of hide and seek, right? Stay tuned to Movies Unboxed for a hilarious ride through this high-stakes chaos. Fast forward to 2030, and our lucky lottery winner, Seann, is in a pickle. He's just hit the jackpot and suddenly, he's the hottest ticket in town, but not in a good way. Picture this. Seann sprinting from a mob of angry folks, all eager to claim his fortune. It's like a Black Friday sale, but instead of discounted TVs, everyone's after Seann's lottery winnings. Seann decides to show off his ninja skills, takes down the crowd, and leaps over a fence like he's auditioning for America's Got Talent. He then breaks into a house through the window and finds a grandma, whom he immediately robs of her phone. It's not a great day for grandmothers, as outside, a drone is giving Seann the ultimate surveillance treatment. But Seann, in a classic movie twist, takes a breather, only to be greeted by an old lady wielding a grand lottery bolt gun. It's like a 1950s Western, but with less shooting and more paperwork. The lady breaks her ticket, summons the lottery team, and confirms Seann's demise. She then strolls off with a check for $22 million and a shiny spot on TV. Can't wait for the next season of Lottery Winners Gone Wild. A month later, Katie arrives in LA to reboot her acting career. On the bus, she clutches a little Oscar keychain like it's her lucky charm. She starts making funny faces at a kid nearby to cheer her up, but the kid's dad is busy mocking her. Katie, in her best "I'm a cop" impression, threatens to drag him to social services if he doesn't shape up. The dad turns into Mr. Nice Guy in seconds. An old lady thanks Katie, but when she leaves, Katie realizes she's just swiped her watch. Smooth move, Katie. Katie sees an ad for Lewis Protection Agency and thinks, bodyguards? Yes, please. She notices everyone on the street looks like they're in a bad mood, or possibly auditioning for a role in Mad Max. Meanwhile, the media is buzzing about the next lottery draw in 18 hours, with a jackpot of $3.6 billion. Tickets are selling like hotcakes, and Noel, our future bodyguard, is gearing up with his weapons and singing the Ninja Turtles theme song. Classic. Katie finally arrives at her rented room, only to find it's in a state of disarray. Her new roommate, Shadi, had definitely overpromised. Shadi's idea of fun includes bad jokes, ignoring her mother's calls, and a boyfriend named DJ, who thinks slapping Katie as a prank is hilarious. DJ, you're not auditioning for Jackass. The next morning, Noel's ad is on TV, offering bodyguard services to lottery winners. Katie wakes up to find the upstairs bathroom has leaked through the roof, ruining her clothes. Shadi's solution? Rent her some clothes. Katie's now spending her savings on an outfit that screams, why bother? And hailing a cab with a driver who can't stop talking about celebrity gossip. Oh, and Machine Gun Kelly has a bunker, just in case you needed more fun facts today. Katie's day is off to a rocky start when she gets charged $40 just to audition. After all, isn't life already expensive enough without adding pay-to-play to the list? Anyway, she dives into her monologue, reminiscing about her childhood TV ad fame and the tragic break she had to take to care for her sick mom. As she reaches into her pocket for her notes, she finds Shadi's lottery ticket. By some cosmic joke, her thumbprint activates it, taking her picture and officially signing her up for a game she didn't even know she was playing. Katie's audition? Well, it doesn't go as planned. She's kicked out faster than a bad punchline at a comedy club. In the hallway, the other actresses, who were initially sympathetic, suddenly switch gears as their own lottery tickets light up with news of Katie's big win. With newfound zeal, they pounce on her, armed with everything from hairbrushes to the occasional knife. It's like an audition gone terribly, terribly wrong. Katie manages to fend them off with her stage fighting skills. Who knew those would come in handy in a real-life battle royale? She narrowly dodges a flying shoe and dashes up the stairs. Unfortunately, her luck takes a nosedive when she stumbles into a self-defense class where everyone's trying to beat her to a pulp while shouting, my jackpot. In what could be the world's least flattering chant, Katie tries to explain, but her pleas are ignored. Amid the chaos, she's flung through a wall and lands in a yoga class where things only get worse. Now, she's surrounded by people in downward dog poses who have suddenly decided that peace and serenity mean throwing punches. Blood spills, mats go flying, and it's like a wellness retreat gone haywire. Just as a guy grabs Katie by the neck, Noel bursts through the ceiling, channeling his inner action hero. He tosses the guy aside and offers Katie a deal, 5 free saves, after which his protection costs a cool 10% of her prize. Katie, with no better options and a growing list of injuries, agrees. Noel starts taking down opponents with impressive gusto, using Katie as a human shield and a whip. If that's not dedication to his job, what is? After the dust settles and the opponents are unconscious, Katie seizes Noel's paralysis dart gun. Noel, ever the professional, arranges the fallen so they won't choke on their tongues, because apparently that's part of the job description. He then informs Katie that the lottery drone, which is essentially a flying snitch, will broadcast her location every 14 minutes. They need to bolt. As they sprint out, Noel points out the small print of the rules. No player can kill another player. Just as they're about to escape, someone from a food truck throws a knife at Katie. Noel, like a trusty sidekick, helps her dodge the attack, and they escape in his car. As they drive off, nearby folks get the alert and prepare to join the fray. It seems Katie's audition just turned into the most intense, unplanned adventure of her life. The ice cream truck ditches the kids like last season's fashion, and even the lady from the bus has a grand lottery bolt gun. Talk about overkill. Back with Noel, he's explaining the lottery to Katie, who looks baffled. Turns out, Katie and her mom were more into movie marathons and baking shows than, the actual news. Noel is shocked she's missed out on the chaos. Suddenly, the car's being chased by a motley crew on bikes and ATVs. Noel, ever the prepared guy, hands out helmets like he's hosting a bizarre game show. As he speeds up, someone tosses a Molotov cocktail onto the car, setting the roof ablaze. But Noel, channeling his inner stunt driver, dives into an old warehouse. The wind helps extinguish the flames, proving that fire and wind are basically frenemies. In the warehouse, Noel turns the car around just in time for a biker to have a not-so-fun crash. Then, he's driving through the warehouse like he's in a demolition derby, while Katie, already on edge, is begging to quit. Apparently, the only way out is to leave the city. But first, Noel has to dart a guy like he's in a really intense game of tag. Dust starts flying everywhere, making their escape look like a scene from a low-budget action movie. Katie is adamant about quitting, so Noel reluctantly agrees to head for the nearest quit line. Just as they start to relax, the bikers find them again and the chase is back on. A biker jumps into the car, and Katie, channeling her inner ninja, swipes a knife while Noel throws darts like he's auditioning for a circus act. The woman's got some bite, literally. So Noel smacks her with a mirror before shoving her out of the car. With another Molotov thrown their way, Noel forces Katie to drive through a wall, as if they're auditioning for the Demolition Derby's gold medal. They stop a car. A biker crashes trying to dodge it, and Katie knocks out another biker with her helmet. But their car is now a hunk of junk, barely moving before it gives up the ghost. Katie tries to make a run for it, but Noel stops her. He explains that while quitting means he doesn't get any cash, he still wants to help because, treat others how you want to be treated and all that. Just then, Katie throws sand in Noel's face and socks him one. Classic move. Noel has to snap his nose back into place before a police car arrives on the scene. Katie runs to the cops for help, but they're not exactly the friendly neighborhood type. They want to zap her with tasers. Noel, ever the hero, grabs the taser and starts fighting them off while Katie makes a getaway. Katie hides her face behind a map while the crowd goes full Sherlock on her, looking for her under every rock. She ducks into a wax museum and gets a surprise. The guard is anti-lottery and lets her hide among the statues. Katie calls Shoddy, only to realize that Shoddy is in the same game, making her a player too. At that moment, a statue greets Katie, blowing her cover. Later, Shoddy and DJ show up at the museum, but the guard turns them away, reminding them they're banned for, let's say, inappropriate behavior with the statue. What a day. Shoddy throws a punch and knocks him out cold, and the couple rushes inside. Katie, quick on her feet, hides behind a statue, but her stealthy exit is foiled when DJ spots her and shoves her onto a desk. In a bid to escape, Katie hurls a bottle at Shoddy's head and throws sand in DJ's face. The couple, now fully committed to their action movie, team up to take down Katie. Katie grabs a statue's staff and defends herself like she's auditioning for a role in a sword-fighting epic. When an opportunity presents itself, Katie tries to flee, but Shoddy gives her a kick that would make a soccer coach proud, sending her staff flying. In the next room, Shoddy and DJ beat Katie with the staff's halves, making her feel like she's in the middle of a bad remake of The Three Stooges. Katie fights back by hurling statues around like she's auditioning for a circus act, only to realize too late that she's mistaken the Kardashians for Cher. The brawl continues in the horror room, where Katie, Shoddy, and DJ grab every prop they can find, transforming the place into a chaotic costume party gone terribly wrong. After a dramatic chase involving movie costumes and fake weapons, Katie makes a break for it just as Shoddy throws an axe at her. The axe lands with a clunk. It's fake. Classic move. Katie then presses a button to lower the shutter but has a flashback to Noel's wise words. She manages to fix the guard's body, saving him from a choking hazard, then rolls out of the museum just before the shutter slams shut, trapping Shoddy and DJ inside. Outside, a tour bus guide spots her and announces her location like it's the latest gossip. Before anyone can reach her, Noel appears in a police car, and Katie's suspicion kicks in. She figures Noel might be planning to offer since he's helping her quit and all, thinking he'll save on paying her. As the tour bus keeps bumping into the back of the car like a deranged bumper car, Noel wishes they had a bunker. Katie suddenly remembers the taxi driver and decides to pay a visit to Machine Gun Kelly. When she asks for help, Kelly thinks she's requesting something scandalous. At that moment, the tour bus arrives, and Katie grabs Noel's dart gun and makes him open his panic room. Inside the panic room, Katie and Noel quickly put Kelly to sleep with a dart. They attempt to close the door, but a crowd gathers, and a suspiciously persistent arm tries to keep it open. Katie, thinking Noel wants to shoot her, grabs the gun and fires a dart at the arm, forcing it to retreat. With the door finally shut, the panic room is fully equipped, and they can watch the chaos on the security camera. Katie, still a bit wary, keeps the gun aimed at Noel, but he tries to prove he's a good guy by sharing sweet facts about himself. The conversation turns personal when Katie's keychain falls out, and she opens up. She chose acting for her mom, who adored movies and gifted her the keychain to remind her of her mother's pride. Katie reveals she made good money as a child actor, but her dad ran off with all of it. Noel, being the understanding guy he is, gets a thumbs up in a return of the gun. Katie asks Noel why he's helping her quit, and he explains his priorities. Saving lives comes first, and making enough money to keep saving lives comes second. Meanwhile, outside, Shoddy slaps Kelly awake and, when that fails, drags him into the pool, demanding the door password, which turns out to be the meme-worthy 6969. Katie and Noel, watching this unfold, realize they're in for a new twist. Noel makes a call, orders a phone strike, and stashes Katie's phone in a safe. As Shoddy uses the password, the crowd freezes in horror as their phones start ringing with an Amber Alert. But surprise! It's a trap, and their phones begin to explode, creating a scene that's a cross between a fireworks show and a very unfortunate party trick. As everyone is dealing with their burns, Katie and Noel decide it's time to make a run for it. Noel, being the hero he is, even takes a moment to extinguish flames from someone's groin. Outside, a bunch of guards is waiting with damage-proof cars and rubber bullet guns. They only want Katie, but she insists on dragging Noel along. During the ride, Katie quizzes Noel about his job. He mentions he used to work with these guys, but now freelances. It's like he's telling her he used to be a top chef and now he's a food critic, except with more explosions. When they arrive at headquarters, Katie meets Lewis, who runs this security gig. She's not impressed. Lewis mocks Noel and shows off his grenades like they're party favors. Katie asks to be taken out of the city, but Lewis just gives her a new phone. He's like, "Chill, you're in the safest building in the country." While flaunting his grenade collection, with only 4 hours left in the game, Lewis gives them a tour. He proudly shows a wall of anonymous winners. It's like a high school yearbook where everyone's a mystery. Lewis explains they charge 30%, and Katie signs the contract, taking a cut for Noel. Later, they spot a crowd gathering outside, so Lewis decides to move Katie to a hidden underground fortress using decoy vehicles. First, Katie and Noel get medical care for their wounds. Noel reveals he used to be a mercenary with Lewis, but he quit when he found out they were killing civilians. Now, he donates his earnings to the victims' families. Katie shares her sob story about her dad, who vanished with her money after she turned 18. Now she's stuck with only $60 and a bus ticket to LA. It's like a bad episode of Extreme Makeover, Life Edition. An employee brings in a prosthetics machine, and Katie emerges looking like an old man. Noel is suspicious about the facility's expenses and the 30% fee. He finally realizes Lewis isn't protecting them. He's planning to off them. Katie insists Noel come along, but Lewis says no. Desperate, Katie kicks Lewis in the groin, and Noel uses the distraction to open the garage door. He shoots the guards with darts, and the crowd rushes in, ignoring Katie. Noel hands Katie a keycard and tells her to run while he buys time. More guards show up, and Lewis starts kicking Noel for information. Suddenly, the AI decoy cars take off with Katie hidden in one. Social media goes wild because the drone lost Katie, making her a hero. As Katie is about to leave town, Noel calls, threatening to harm him if she doesn't turn around. Despite her hesitation, Katie heads back. Lewis, meanwhile, takes Noel to an old theater and confesses he always knew they were killing civilians but didn't care because it was easy money. He admits to causing the mission failure to keep all the cash. With only 15 minutes left, Katie grabs a bolt gun from the glove compartment and rushes into the theater. She threatens to self-destruct, causing Lewis to panic. Katie even starts recording this for social media to prevent Lewis from framing her. She rants about her terrible life, almost pulls the trigger, but then Lewis drops the handcuff keys and begs for a deal. Katie pretends to agree, but kicks him off the stage, revealing she's been acting all along. With Lewis out of the picture, other players swarm after Katie. Everyone she met today appears at the theater and blocks the exits. Katie grabs anything she can to slow them down, turning the whole place into a makeshift obstacle course. It's chaos with a side of comedy as Katie fights for her survival. Suddenly, Lewis grabs Katie's leg and yanks her down like he's trying to win a tug-of-war competition. As he tries to do her in, a cop rushes to the rescue but gets kicked away by Lewis, who seems to have taken a crash course in how to be a terrible villain. Meanwhile, Noel, still chained to a chair, decides it's a good time to sing the Ninja Turtles theme song while fighting off a growing mob. Yes, you heard that right. A singing, cuffed Noel battling bad guys. The chair finally breaks, giving Noel the freedom to use his hands for something other than belting out catchy tunes. Katie, in a burst of heroism, bites Louis, grabs his weapon, and throws the keys to Noel. Noel, now free, joins the brawl with Louis. But wait, Shotty arrives with a katana. She tries to get in on the action, but Katie disarms her and gives her a friendly headbutt. Yup, a headbutt, because nothing says goodbye like a good smack to the face. With the clock ticking down, a sea of people floods the theater like it's Black Friday. Katie scrambles up the stage decorations for a little peace and quiet. Louis, not to be outdone, snatches an axe and starts a one-man show with Noel using symbols as his defense. They manage to take down Louis, who has clearly missed the memo on how to be a competent villain. The bus lady tries to follow Katie up the stage, but gets a kick to the bottom for her trouble. Noel, in a stroke of genius, starts smashing decorations to build an impromptu barricade. Louis' cronies form a human ladder, proving once again that bad guys are experts at teamwork, even if they're not great at anything else. Louis climbs up to Katie, and just when things seem dire, Katie reveals she's used her keychain to set off one of his grenades. Boom. Louis is out, and Katie takes a nosedive. But fear not, Katie's adoring fans catch her with a giant flag, because apparently, they're also part-time circus performers. As the clock hits 0, Katie hugs Noel and promises him 50% of the winnings. The lottery people show up with a giant check, and Katie drops the bombshell. She's retiring from acting. Flash forward 6 months, and Katie and Noel are now charity moguls, running everything from a free protection agency to a school of self-defense. Noel, ever the dreamer, tries to open a Ninja Turtles-themed pizzeria but gets slapped with a copyright lawsuit. As if that wasn't enough, they cap off their adventure with a vacation on their very own super yacht. Because if you've survived all that, you definitely deserve to sail off into the sunset. And that's a wrap on our wild ride with Katie and Noel. From high-flying stunts to battling bad guys with ninja moves, this story had it all. If you enjoyed the roller coaster of action and laughs, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Movies Unboxed for more thrilling recaps and hilarious takes. Until next time, keep your popcorn ready and your laughter loud.